I am Dr. Raleigh Duncan, and I'm founder and president of Clearlight Saunas in San Francisco. So I got started years ago in my own healing journey and finding out about alternative medicine. I worked in manufacturing for 20 years, but at some point in my 40s, I felt empty and wanted to do more. So that led me to becoming a chiropractor, moving my family to California. And that's where I discovered infrared. So infrared sauna at the time was really nascent. No one knew about it, but I saw these great things happening with people that got in the infrared sauna. Their pain would go away, they would feel better, their skin would get softer. So I was convinced that there was something here that was useful. So that's when I started my company, SaunaWorks. And so for the past 18 years, we've been working to discover how infrared works to heal the body and to make the best saunas that we can. Because this is my practice. I don't practice as a chiropractor now, but instead we put saunas out all over the world, and people write us and they call us and they tell us the changes that have happened with their lives. So this is what gets me up in the morning. So that's been the most important thing, and I'm so glad that I made that decision to leave a comfortable life and go for something that might make a difference in the world. I'd love to, because the infrared sauna doesn't cure anything. Curing is something that happens through a drug or cutting something out of your body. That's curing. Healing is working with the body's own systems, the body's own strengths, working with the wholeness of the body. So what infrared does is it amplifies and supports the body in detoxification, in pain reduction, in boosting the immune system, all these things to help the body to come to its own healing point. And that's the most amazing part, because it's not going to a doctor and saying, doctor, help me, I'm powerless. It's using something to empower yourself and to bring your body to wholeness. So it's a huge difference. So it's very important to understand that difference between healing and curing. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. Okay, saunas have been used for thousands and thousands and probably beyond that years. Just about every culture has some type of sauna that they've used, whether it's the Russian banya, whether it's the Indian sweat lodge, the hammam, just everywhere. People have gravitated towards saunas and found out that this is something great. This is something that can help your life and make you feel better and build community. So people have gone into saunas during times of sickness, during times of health. And so the infrared sauna, it's been around about over 30 years. It started in Japan, it migrated to Korea, and then soon came to the United States. And infrared is a different animal, because we're all familiar with the normal, what I would call a traditional sauna, the box of hot rock sauna. That works by heating up the air. So you heat the air to 220 degrees Fahrenheit. And that heated air is what heats the body. Infrared is totally different. So when you go in the infrared sauna, you'll first notice that there are panels around you. Those are the infrared heaters. And infrared works as a very safe, gentle, penetrating wavelength. So with the heaters around you, the wavelength comes through the air. It doesn't give up its energy in the air. It doesn't give up its energy till it hits the skin and penetrates into the soft tissue. So in that way, the air is gentle to breathe. The air runs 110, 120 degrees, could be a little hotter depending on how long the sauna's been running. So you're not burning your lungs out trying to get up, this healing heat inside your body that's going to relax your muscles and get the toxins out. So that's the very main difference. Now, that posed a lot of technological problems, which we can talk about later, as far as making certain that every cabin is safe. It has no electrical magnetic frequencies, no ELF, so there's EMF and ELF, but we can talk about that a little later. So, but this is the infrared sauna, and so because it's this ecological and economical type of sauna, it can go in your house very easily and goes together in less than an hour without any tools. Plugs into normal household current. Very economical to run, less than 20 cents an hour if you use it every day. For half an hour, that comes out to, a very small amount at the end of the month. So both the traditional sauna and the infrared sauna, they both have their place. They both do good things, but the infrared is much different in that we're not using that heated air as a medium. So number one, you're not having to breathe in that superheated air and burn your lungs out just to work up a good sweat. The infrared penetrates into the soft tissue where the heated air does not. The heated air stops at the skin level. And then once you get some perspiration, now the heat of the heated air in the traditional sauna is being blocked. Infrared's totally different. The wavelength comes through the air, penetrates into the soft tissue. When that happens, you get vasodilation. So vasodilation is just a fancy word for the blood vessels open up. And when that happens, you have a sensation in your heart. You have sensors in your entire body that say, oh my gosh, our blood pressure is going down. We better start pumping more blood with our heart. So that's called a passive aerobic exercise. So your heart rate will go up, your muscles will relax, pain will go down, your blood pressure will go down, and all this happens just by sitting in the sauna. So that's physiologically the start of what happens in the sauna. None of that happens in the traditional sauna. So you're getting a lot more, and it's comfortable to stay in there. So that's the biggest difference. Yeah. Sure. Far infrared is ubiquitous. That means it's just everywhere. So I have a little gun that I can point, and I can get surface temperature. I have another tool that I can look and find infrared everywhere. Infrared is around us. We give off infrared from our bodies. That's probably the best way to talk about it. That's how they can see people at night with a special infrared camera. So we give off infrared at about 9.4 microns, all right? So that's what we use in the heaters. In our heaters, we have a large percentage of the heat gives off 9.4 microns. So in that way, the body, it feels it and it goes, wow, this is familiar. I know what that is. So this goes along with healing versus curing. We're not putting something that's unnatural into the body. We're putting something into the body that it feels good. And these are what are called the healing wavelengths in these ranges. And so there have been other cultures, the Koreans, the Chinese, that have used these wavelengths for healing for a long, long time. Even before electricity was around, they would heat clay objects to get this infrared healing. So I tried something for a week, and everyone that I met, I asked them, are you stressed out? And I did not get one person say, no, I'm not stressed out, things are fine, no pressure here. So we live in this culture of stress. So the first thing that happens when the infrared comes into the body and this vasodilation happens and the muscles start to relax within that, is you go from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. So sympathetic is the fight or flight, the running from the tiger, the stressed out response. And parasympathetic is rest and digest and, I feel good, all right? But most of us in our culture live in this stressed point. So we live there so much, we're not even aware of it anymore. So the body in its infinite wisdom really can't heal. It won't put energy into healing so much when it thinks it's being chased by a tiger. It's really wise. So the body says, look, we'll do that healing, but let's get rid of the tiger first. So when you get in the infrared sauna, doesn't matter what's going on in your life, this physiological process of the vasodilation, of the muscle relaxing, of everything heating up is going to happen. It's going to put you into parasympathetic, okay? And that's where the healing can begin. A lot of people that I've seen over the years in our saunas, and I've talked to a lot of people that have used our saunas and their outcomes, what I've come to believe is that if you're really stressed out, and if you're ill, you're stressed out, you have even stresses on top of that, that the set point between sympathetic and parasympathetic gets skewed. It gets off the meter. So using the sauna regularly will reset this set point in your autonomic nervous system between sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. And this is just so huge for healing, for just starting on the road of healing. So that's number one. Number two, when the wavelength comes in, and I talked a little about the 9.4 micron, all right? That a lot of the infrared energy that we create in our sauna is the same that the energy that's being put out. So that's called a resonant frequency. Now, why is that important? Now, I don't know if you remember, you may not, but this was back in the old days. There was a TV commercial for Memorex cassette tape, and it says, is it live or is it Memorex? And this was Ella Fitzgerald, a great singer. And so Ella would break a glass with her voice, just getting that right note. So if you ever want to try this, take a wine glass and you hold it by the bottom and you ping it with your fingernail. And the wine glass will give out its own tone. That's the tone that you need to put back into the wine glass. And if you will do that, it will start to vibrate. And if you can do it with enough clarity and power, it will shatter the glass. So the Japanese, Kabara and Inoue, back a long time ago in Japan, figured out that that resonant frequency also carries over into the human body and into water cells. That if you could get this resonant frequency using heat, using infrared, what happens? The water molecules within the cells will vibrate, and this is how the toxins cleave off. And then they go through interstitial fluid, and then they go out through the organs of elimination and hopefully sweating. Now, sweating's not necessary in order to detox, but it's definitely a good pathway for that to happen. So we took this information, and that is what has informed us for the last 18 years on our heater design. So we're in our 6th generation heaters to get more and more of that 9.4 micron into the body and some other markers in order to heal the body. So we're actually healing with the wavelengths. We're actually making a difference. Most people think, oh, you get in a sauna, you heat up, that's great, you sweat, you walk. No, there's so much more to it that we've worked on to get it to that point. So that's the second thing, is detoxification. So we have stress elimination, detoxification. I'll go to the third one, which is weight loss. Now there's been a term coined obesogens, which has to do that many people can't lose weight because the toxins are stored in the fat cells. So I've known people, they don't eat more than a couple pieces of celery, they work out, and the weight will not leave them. And the reason is the body cannot lose the fat until the toxins leave. So we did a study with University of New York, SUNY, Binghamton. It was really, really interesting. So we put 20 subjects in our saunas, and we had them take a sauna for half an hour, 5 days a week, for a total of 8 weeks. And at the end of it, and we had a control group that did not do that. So at the end of those 8 weeks, only 8 weeks, half an hour in the sauna, 5 days a week, they lost an average of 4% body fat. Now the control group, unfortunately, did not. I would rather have been in the sauna group. So I think that's because of what I told you about the detoxification And also it's been postulated that we're boosting the metabolism with the heat. When you heat the core up in the way that we're doing, we know that we're boosting the immune system, but we're also boosting the metabolism. And so you're burning more calories. If you go on Kaiser's website, they talk about using the sauna. Sauna is a good thing for pain, and also that you can burn up to 300 to 800 calories in a single sauna session. Now, we were talking before, I like to walk. I walk 5 miles every day. But you know, walking only burns, and I'm going to keep walking, I love it. Walking only burns 100 calories in an hour. Or, I'm sorry, in a mile. If a mile takes you an hour, you're in bad shape. But so when you compare that with using the sauna, and I use my sauna every day. If I don't use my sauna, I can feel it. It's like there's a backup in my body. So that's stress reduction, detoxification, weight loss, immune system boosting. Okay. Now let's talk about skin health a little. Most of the people have reported to us over the last 18 years, after they get their sauna, we'll get this message, you know, I bought the sauna because of my arthritis, but I noticed that within the first week my skin got softer. Now, why is that? That's because the detoxification happens very close at the skin. So the first thing that gets purified is the skin. And it does. It's going to feel different. It's going to feel softer. It's just going to feel clean in a different way. So those are the main benefits. Now let's go to heart health. Big study just came out this year, and that was published in JAMA and also reported in Harvard Health Review. That was a 20-year study, 2,300 men. They started them at 50 years old. And what they wanted to find out was, what is the effect of using the sauna on morbidity and heart health? So what they found is really interesting, that if you use the sauna, the people that use the sauna for one time a week, out of that 20-year period, they had 58% of them were dead. All right? If you use the sauna 2 to 3 times a week, only 38% died within that period of 20 years. But if you use the sauna 4 to 7 times a week, your chances of dying, there was only 31% of the people that died. So it's a huge study, and it's over a long period of time, and it had a large amount of people. So it's a very interesting study. So there have been a lot of journal peer-reviewed articles about heart health and just healing the heart. But it makes sense because we're getting all this blood to flow through. We're helping to reduce obesity, which is going to make your lipid panels better. You're going to have more of the good HDL and less of the LDL and the triglycerides that are bad for you. So that's heart health. Reduction of pain. When you go in and this vasodilation happens, the muscles relax. And if you think of pain chemicals, they actually isolated what's called substance P. And that's what actually gets the pain nerves to get activated. And any area that you have pain, a lot of times you'll have inflammation. So in this coursing of blood through your body that's caused by this heart that's pumping after it senses the vasodilation, you're going to move toxins and you're going to move chemicals like that out of the system. So you get a pain reduction just from that. So the last one I would like to just touch on very briefly are autoimmune diseases, which have just skyrocketed recently in people's sensitivities to chemicals and electromagnetic fields and all kinds of things. So we have a toxicity load that we can handle, and everyone is different. It's called a toxic burden. So when your toxic burden gets to a certain level, your body starts to go out of kilter because it's storing all these toxins. The toxins are mimicking hormones in the body, and that's where you get sort of a body gone rogue. And then it starts to see friendly things in the body as not friendly. So this is sort of the thumbnail basis of allergic reactions, autoimmune, is the body attacking itself. But what we've seen and found that if you can bring down the toxicity level, many of these symptoms that will sometimes mimic other diseases will start to abate and sometimes disappear. Again, we're not curing anything. We're just giving the body a fighting chance. Did you know that there's 80,000 chemicals in our environment that our great-grandparents did not have, that weren't here, that weren't evident? So one of the studies I like to pull out from time to time and get heart, there's the President's Council on Cancer. And this was sponsored by National Cancer Institute. So the president has its own council of learned PhDs and doctors. And they put together a couple hundred page report that talked about the role of toxicity in causing cancer in the workplace. And they said that in the study, in the first page, they said we were surprised at how prevalent these toxins were and how most people weren't even aware of it. And so their recommendation was avoid toxins at all costs. Avoid toxins in the workplace and at home and in your food. Well, that's really great, except all of us in this planet are filled with toxins. They're already in our bodies, so it's not a matter of avoiding. We're living with them right now. So the question is, number one, how do you get the toxins that are in our bodies out so you can regain your health? And how do you come up with some kind of plan to keep the toxins that are all around us in our air and our clothes, in the food, in the water? They found jet fuel in water in California. I mean, and now you're even talking about the prescription drugs that are too small to be filtered out that are coming into our water supply all the time. So how do you get those out on a daily basis? I really think that it's such a big problem that the government really can't talk about it too much because they don't have a system to clean it up. So Brian Clement feels so strongly about the efficacy of using infrared saunas that here at Hippocrates there's over 26 saunas. There's a sauna just about every corner that you turn, and he encourages people to use this, and it is part of the regimen because you can put the best nutrition in your body, but if you don't get the toxins out, they'll never be able to do what they're intended to do. So this is, like I said, an epidemic proportion in our society, but most people walk around truly unaware of it. And it's not getting better out there. It's actually getting worse as more chemicals are being discovered. Inflammation is one of the biggest underlying problems that we have because a body that's in inflammation is going to start to have all kinds of problems with heart disease and metabolic functioning, basically. So, but first let me clarify between inflammation and inflammatory process. When someone has, let's say they broke their arm or they have a bruise or they have something, a localized inflammation where it's hot, all right? And that's in an acute phase over a period of 24 to 48 hours, maybe a little longer. So in that type of situation, normally you don't want to put heat on it because it's only going to make things worse. But what we're talking about is chronic inflammation that's systemic and in the body. So again, inflammation goes back to toxicity, it goes back to diet, and it goes back, basically that's all lifestyle choices. So if you're eating things all the time that are going to cause inflammation, getting in the infrared sauna can help because it's going to remove toxins and it's going to relax you. And an inflamed person is in that sympathetic mode. So infrared sauna can help by removing the toxins, by relaxing the body, and bringing the body down a couple notches. An inflamed, if you think a good picture of an inflamed person is like a burning house. You know, everything hurts, everything is tight, everything is swollen. Systems aren't working, hormones aren't reacting in the proper way. So this is what infrared does. But you have to be careful with any type of heat. So this is a good time. I can talk a little about rheumatic diseases, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and things that would come under that pale. So a lot of people with these diseases have come to us over the years, and what we've found is that some can get better with infrared and some cannot. It all depends on when they get in the infrared sauna, how does their body deal with heat? How does it deal with heat in general? So I can ask them, if you go out in the sun on a hot day, how does your body feel? So that's really it. So this comes back to protocols, having proper protocols and starting conservatively and starting in the sauna and seeing what happens. Now, there was a study done in 2008 in Holland with people with rheumatoid arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis. And it did very well. There was reduction in pain and increase in flexibility. There was a decrease in fatigue for all the respondents. But again, it has to be watched very closely. So we recommend working with your healthcare practitioner because it's not a straight path as many of the other things are. There are infrared mats and a lot of infrared products, and they all have their place and do good work. None of those will replace the infrared sauna. So if it comes down to heat, we have many people that are very sick, people with multiple chemical sensitivities, normally will start off in the sauna with the door open. So you get the effect of the infrared coming at you from all directions, but you don't have that heat buildup. So in that way they can tolerate it. So the infrared mats are very good, but you have to check for a few things. One is to make sure that they're low EMF and that they aren't putting out any ELF, so that's the electrical portion of the magnetic field. When you lie on a mat, you will be getting some infrared, but it's in a little different way because you're lying on the mat and the heat is being conducted through the mat to the cells of your body. So that's called conduction. In infrared coming through the air and penetrating into the skin, that's a different animal altogether because it's coming and entering as a wavelength. When you're lying on something or touching something, that's different. And then there's convection. Convection is where you have a heat source and you have a fan blowing it around. So these are the different types. So there is benefit, especially for spot treatments or just for relaxing, but it's not the same. So EMF is a magnetic portion of the electrical field, and it's the one that we mostly think of when you talk of cell phones and microwave ovens and things to avoid, high power lines. And the World Health Organization recommends that you not be exposed for any period of time to EMF greater than 3 milligauss. So that's sort of the watchword. In our saunas, we've gotten the EMF down so that where you're sitting in the sauna, you're not being exposed to any EMF whatsoever. And then we went on, and ELF is the electrical portion of the field. And that really hasn't had as much press, but we're understanding that more and more. And we're just about to introduce our entire line of saunas that will abate all the ELF as well. So that took some more time to do that. So it will be in concert with the EMF. So both should be avoided. And there are meters that, and I can show you this, and meters that will demonstrate the EMF and also the ELF. So I first came to Hippocrates many years ago, and then before that I knew about Ann Wigmore and the work in Boston and Victor's book. I read Victor's book and was growing wheatgrass sometime in the 70s, and so it's always been on my mind, this healing through food, and food is medicine. So the first time I came out to Hippocrates, I talked to Brian, and we came in and we changed out all the heaters in all the saunas to low EMF heaters. And I just love this place. It's 34 acres or so of just gorgeous, beautiful greenery and palm trees and pools and saunas, and everyone you meet is on a journey of healing. And so there's a feeling of camaraderie. And for me, it's a spiritual place. It's a center of my, I don't know, this is the place I think about. You know, when I think about what's special and calm, I think about Hippocrates. So if you ever get a chance to come here, it's just there's no place else in the world like Hippocrates. It's the vibration is good, and the food is fantastic, and you will come away changed. That's what's happened to me. So that's my experience here. So it was Hippocrates who's credited in saying, give me a fever and I will heal any disease. So when we get in the infrared sauna, what we're doing is we're raising the core temperature of the body. And when you do that, the body's really smart. So it starts to enlist all the immune defenses, all the white blood cells and neutrophils and the leukocytes, the monocytes, the eosinophil, and the basophil. All these come to action because they sense the heat. It's like a dinner bell for them. And so this heat gets everything going and your immune system is boosted. So who couldn't use that just to have your immune system running at a higher level all the time, very naturally, just by getting in the sauna and maybe listening to a little music or not. So it's very simple, but that's how it works. And sometimes just having your immune system functioning at maybe 10 to 20% higher can mean all the difference of going into a disease or coming out of one. So with far infrared, number one, as far as the skin, and the skin is the largest organ, and because it's on the outside, the far infrared is going to interact with the skin first. And it brings the toxins out and makes the collagen and the cells of the skin more elastic. All right? That's one of the properties of far infrared, is coming in, making it more elastic, getting the toxins out. And it also works great on cellulite, again, because it's melting away fat cells. And we've had a lot of testimonials about that as well. But that's, you just have to try it for yourself, because so many people say, oh, it does this, it does that. But you go into an infrared sauna, a lot of times, just in the first session, you'll come out and the skin feels different. Then a lot of people will call us and they'll say, I think I'm onto something here. So that's how it works, very simple. So let's talk a little about contraindications of when you shouldn't go into a sauna and some of the concerns that are brought up. So one of the biggest questions we get is, can I go in the infrared sauna if I have breast implants, or if I have a knee, you know, a platinum knee, or something like that, or if I have a heart condition? So number one, we've found that any prostheses, anything that has been put into your body, will not be affected at all by infrared. Infrared bounces off of metal, and we're only at the most going to raise the core temperature of your body a couple degrees So it's not going to melt anything. Now, if you have a heart condition, we always ask you to consult your primary care physician, just to let them know. And they probably may not know about infrared sauna. You have to explain it's low temperature sauna. The air stays comfortable to breathe. So there's a lot less stress on it. Maybe send them some of the studies that have been done about coronary heart disease and how infrared has helped. So that's it on heart disease and implants. The other contraindications you might consider would be pregnancy. If you're pregnant, we don't want you using the sauna because we don't want the toxins to be liberated. The time to get rid of the toxins is before conception. So if you're thinking of getting pregnant or wanting to get pregnant, that's the time to really do a good year of using the sauna to get all the toxins out of your body. Had mentioned some rheumatoid diseases like the lupus, rheumatic arthritis, things of this nature. Any of these inflammatory diseases, always proceed with caution and just see how heat reacts on it. Many people have been helped by it, but you don't want to inflame the condition. So those are the major ones that we have found. But again, if you're in doubt, always consult your physician and let them know what type of course of healing you're wanting to take. So as far as how often to use your sauna, I tell people try to use your sauna at least 3 times a week. That's a minimum. If you want to see a result, use it 3 times a week. Any less, and it's not going to have the same effect. And then I tell people to go in, start off very conservatively, 15, 20 minutes. Try to build up for half an hour. But here's the caveat. Part of healing is knowing your body. So sitting in the sauna is an opportunity to listen to your body. When your body tells you to get out of the sauna, get out, right? It will tell you, I've had enough. I feel like it's time to get out. That's the most important thing, because your body knows. Little kids know. They'll come in the sauna, they'll run around, and then they'll leave. They'll say, this is enough for me. So it's not a question of, saunas sometimes get confused with this sort of macho, I'm going to stay in here, I'm going to grit my teeth. That's not the infrared sauna. The infrared sauna is comfortable. You stay in, you feel it in your body, and it will bring more body awareness. And then you get out. Now, I've got one holistic dentist for the last 15 years. He's been taking 2 one-hour saunas every day. And he's a raw food guy, and he surfs out by Ocean Beach, and anyway, really healthy looking guy. But he does 2 one-hour saunas every single day and has forever. He says it's just the core of his health. But for most people, they don't have 2 one-hour sessions. So try to go in for a half an hour, at least 3 times a week. You can do it every day if you have the time, and you will feel immensely better. One other thing, some people find that if they take the sauna at night, they sleep like a baby. Other people find if they take it at night, it energizes them and they stay up and they get a lot of work done. So find out which type you are, whether you're a morning sauna user or a nighttime sauna user, and play around with it and find your routine. Once you find your routine, try to stick to that same time every day. We have these rhythms in our body. Just as we get hungry at a certain time, we get sleepy at a certain time, we will detox at a certain time. And once you get in the routine, your body will know. It's going, oh, we're going to detox in 15 minutes, so let's get ready for that. And you will almost double the effectiveness of what I've seen of people getting in the sauna. So other things that can help is to dry brush beforehand, drink a lot of water before, during, and after, to rehydrate. Take a good supplement, because you will lose some minerals out of your body along with the toxins. Never had anybody really have a problem, but we always recommend that. So the smaller saunas that we sell a dome sauna and a smaller one-person sauna that just literally clips together in less than an hour and plugs into the wall. They're just as effective as the larger, more luxurious saunas that we have, the 5-person sauna, the commercial saunas, because they're using the same type of low EMF, and we call it a True Wave 2 carbon ceramic heater. And that's what we've developed over the years to give the very best wavelength and the very best healing. So those are resident, we use the same heaters in every sauna. So you can rest assured that you're getting the best healing from any of the products that we have. So here's what I'd say. If someone's looking for a far infrared sauna, there's a few things to really watch for. Number one, has the company been in business for a long time? What's their warranty? We offer a lifetime warranty. 3, do the heaters go above the head? Really important. We design all our saunas for the heaters to be below the head, and that's in accordance with Ayurvedic principles. And as much as that, if you have a heater above the head, infrared doesn't really heat the air. So you're just wasting energy. We position the heaters in the front, along the sides, behind you, even in the floor. So because of the infrared action that I talked about with that resonant frequency, you really have to have the heaters all around you. That's very important. Then the next thing is to make sure that any sauna you look at, you want to test it for emissivity of EMF, for bad electrical field, because the last thing you want to do is to get into a sauna and find out that it's emitting a high level of electromagnetic frequency, because then you're going into the sauna thinking that you're getting health when in actuality you're hurting yourself. So then also check out the woods and the glues, and just make sure it's well made by a reputable company. We get, I'd say, 3 or 4 calls every week from people that have a sauna and it's broken, hasn't worked, and I say, well, what's the name of it? And it doesn't even have a name on it. So yeah, buyer beware, and just make sure you know who you're dealing with. So my commitment to the people is to create the very best, highest quality sauna that we can, that will do no harm, that will heal everyone, and that we will take care of you for the duration of your life. And we will take care of the sauna, and we will take care of you. Because this, for me, this is more than just a company. This is my practice. This is what I do. This is what gets me up in the morning, because we have people contacting us all the time that it changes their lives. So I realized early on, as a chiropractor, I could only reach so many people. But by making these great saunas and putting them out to the world, I could affect just thousands and thousands more people. And so that's, for me, that's what gets me passionate about what we're doing. And that's in every sauna that we build. So let me give you a little look into the future of what I see and what we're working towards. I believe it's the birthright of every human being to be able to detox their body. You come into the world, you didn't choose to come into a world that was filled with these 80,000 chemicals. So we are working and have worked to come up with systems that are safe, reliable, and effective, and to bring the price down as we can. We're working on models now that hopefully will be out within the next 5 years. What my vision is something that not everybody has the space, nor do they have the money to put a big wooden sauna in their home. It doesn't take up that much room, but still. So we're working on a sauna that, if you're living in a walk-up flat in New York and you have 5 roommates, something that you could stash behind the couch, or something that you could use on a daily basis to detox, because it's everybody's right. So that's the vision going forward, and we're working on that, and more will be revealed. So I wanted to acknowledge that here at Hippocrates, it's easy to take a sauna because they're everywhere. There's one right behind me. There's a couple more over there. But if you're taking this in an online program, you're going to have to find a sauna or get a sauna. So for both cases, I encourage you to try and find a sauna, because it's going to change the way that your detox and your healing is going to go forward. And so we've set up programs that you can get a sauna for as little as $100 a month. And for your health, it's something you're going to have for the rest of your life. Because even after you go through the program, how are you going to keep the toxins out of your body? So that's a strategy that you have to come up with, and we're here to help you every step of the way. So what I want to show you is what bad EMF looks like on a meter. So this is an EMF meter. I got it from Amazon. It's a Lutron or an X-Tech. The two are pretty much the same. So right here, this is not so bad. I'm reading 24, 25. I had a 27 there. This is way too high for a heater. So check your sauna. If you're looking to buy a sauna, make sure you don't get readings like this. So that's a high reading. Now I'm going to show you one of our TrueWave 2 heaters and see what that looks like. So it's imperceptible. As we run up and down, I'm not getting any reading at all. I would expect every now and then maybe get a 0.2 or something, but you'll see there's absolutely nothing. So it took us 5 years to figure out how to take the EMF out of the heater, and we revolutionized the infrared sauna industry. And like I said, we're moving forward. This is low EMF, and the saunas coming out soon will all be low ELF as well. Thank you.